you are looking for a holiday right now, why don't you pop into the shop and see Mark, Anna, and the lovely crew down there? And do not forget that we've got a chance for you to go to Ibiza. Yes, an incredible prize. We've teamed up with Dynamite Competitions, Ocky White Travel, and Jet2 Holidays. It's fantastic, isn't it? Check out the details online now at purewestradio.com and click on competitions. And I feel like I'm going on holiday right now with this like Mediterranean smell in the studio as Ellen Picton is here from HealthAspire. Hello, my lovely.
Hello.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Do you know what? Let's go back to the beginning, shall we? Shall we go back? We first met each other. Oh, my goodness. It must have been 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we sort of went our separate ways. And here we are again. But you set up this very special business. It's incredible. So where did it all come from? Because it's not what you've always done, is it?
No. So I did work in Radio Pembrokeshire for 10 years. And then during those years, I had a battle with endometriosis. So lots of kind of procedures in and out of hospital. And then in my mid-20s, I was told it would be a miracle if you had children. And they wanted to give me a hysterectomy. That was the offer. And I just said, no. I've had enough of all of this. I'd met my partner, who's my now husband, and I sort of had to explain, there's a situation. But I kind of embarked on this lifestyle change, so nutrition and, exercise. And pretty much 9 months later, I was pregnant.
Unbelievable. A special shout out to Ant as well, because he's a very talented musician. He's a great lad. Lots of love, Ant. I mean, how did that make you feel? I mean, bearing in mind, I had no idea, first and foremost, Ellen. We worked together for so many years, never knew. So you hit it quite well, really, I guess, in a sense. But then this was a real problem for you. I mean, being told that, how did it make you feel at the time?
I think, you just feel like a failure as a woman, that you can't do this kind of simple thing, this very natural thing. But I was determined really to kind of just change my life because with endometriosis, anyone's had it, it's awful, it's painful, it's so I was so determined. And then the whole pregnancy was a rough ride, and they said she was coming early, and I was given steroid shots, and we thought she was coming at 22 weeks. And then after all the kind of fussing, she was born 2 weeks late on Mother's Day.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that kind of moment, I just thought, I've got to do this as a job, a calling.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen how much it had helped me just to help other people. So I literally handed in my notice at Radio Pembrokeshire, and I set up HealthAspire, and it was a huge leap of faith, as you've done here. You're leaving a good job and you're kind of throwing a load of money and hoping, and lots of people said, you're not gonna, Milford, you're not gonna survive. And 10 years later, here I am.
Award winning.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Award, yeah.
Look at that. If you're on the socials right now, Ellen is very proudly showing this trophy up. I mean, look at this, hey. Best Business Awards. I mean, Best Business Woman in Health and Beauty. I mean, first of all, how did it make you feel to get nominated, to be shortlisted?
So, well, it was a self-nomination, but it was like kind of applying for a mortgage. The details you had to put. So if you said your business had grown, you had to prove it.
Oh my goodness.
You had to kind of show all your growth, all of the contracts that you're working with. They had to have backing to show that they're real. And so just to get through that bit, and to be a finalist was amazing. So it was in London, in Syon Park, not far from Kew Gardens. And there were probably about, 7 or 8 people, and some amazing people there in the room. A lady who won is part of a huge company called Slim Pod, which is like a hypnotherapy company working with the NHS. And so to become, kind of silver to that was amazing. But that weekend was the 10th anniversary for me. So that was a great prize, a present.
Yeah.
For that, yeah.
The stars certainly do align for you, Ellen. I think when the timing's right. I mean, having your little babber on Mother's Day, and then 10 years on, you're getting recognition at a national level.
Yeah.
I mean, the judges must have thought, this is incredible, because it is. You are changing people's lives for the better.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to take that into account, when you're self-employed. It's hard, isn't it? And tiring. And you got to think, these people, this is the reason why I set up a business. And I'm so lucky, I feel, to do this job. People sometimes drag themselves into the door for their consultation, and they're kind of pouring out all of this stuff. And even within a short time of making simple lifestyle changes, they just look so much better. They feel better. They're sleeping better. They got more energy, as you mentioned. And that's just from tiny changes. It's a funny time of year now because we are getting close to the seasonal, festive.
It's a real thing. I mean, so many people I know this affects, me included, I think a little bit, because we are doing so many events all summer long where we're out and about, we're really active, and then the summer goes. And then the nights draw in, and before you know it, it's like, it's a little bit depressing.
Yeah, so Christmas is coming, and what happens this time of year, people will ring to book an appointment for January.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, you could make tiny changes now that could help. So we're going to talk a bit about that gut health. I'm going to give you some tasters. And then we'll talk about seasonal affective disorder, SAD, that SAD syndrome, which in January just hits big time, and just little tips about that too.
Fantastic. It sounds good to me. Loads of you locked in and watching at the moment. Don't forget, if you are tuning in, you can see us on our socials. We're on our YouTube, on our Insta, and on our Facebook. So if maybe your mouth does start watering a little bit in the next few moments, then you can actually come and have a look on our socials as well. So what have you got for us first up then, Ellen? I'm so curious. The smells, first and foremost, are just fabulous.
Well, I've made some energy balls for you. Keep your energy up. So these are date, walnut, orange, and then like a bit of cocoa energy balls. So just kind of like an alternative to proper like sugary. And then I've got some kimchi, which is like a fermented, spiced, kind of like a sauerkraut. Some kefir. So we've got 3 Ks: kimchi, kefir, kombucha. So kefir is a fermented yogurt, and then kombucha is a fermented drink. So all really good for gut health.
And what is so important about our gut health?
So in our guts, that's where our immune system is pretty much housed. And they're, even in the last 20 years, they're discovering more and more about gut health, about even anxiety, depression is linked to gut health. Some people, when you talk about gut health, they just think, oh, well, I've got IBS, or I'm bloated, or I'm constipated. It's much more than that. So for some people, if your gut health's out of sync, it could be that you've got eczema, that your energy's low, that your hormones are all over the place, that your immune system's not great, so you're picking up colds really easily. So it's a kind of a big topic at the moment. You're walking in the supermarket, you're seeing these kind of products, but a lot of people aren't sure, or they think they need to spend loads of money on supplements. But there are little things that you can just add to your daily diet that would kind of help gut health, and in turn then help immune system and all these other things.
Yeah, it's so important. I went on a 12-week lifestyle transformation. Oh, crikey, Nelly, I think it must be 2, maybe 3 years ago now.
Remember.
Yeah, with Carl Williams. And it was incredible. I mean, the big eye-opener for me was how important it is to get the balance right. It's about eating well. It's then about exercising. And then in turn, how your mental health improves in you as a person, how much you've got more energy. It is a change. And I think we're creatures of habit. It's difficult to make that change, isn't it? But when you do, it can be one of the best things you've ever done.
Yeah. Yeah. And you never forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the big takeaway for me, without a shadow of a doubt, was I never used to eat breakfast. Like I just used to always get up and I'd be like, no, I was never really hungry until lunchtime. Then I was having a really big lunch. And then I would feel like really bloated and just like really lethargic in the afternoons. And then I'd like have a really big dinner and really late on, I'd make sure I always got the kids to bed and all that. Then I would eat. Like I look back at that now thinking how, no wonder I was feeling so rubbish all the time because I could not imagine now without having a really good, healthy breakfast. I make sure I've got loads of Weetabix, muesli, and I've got an array of fruits. And like that is the start of my day. Now, without that, I'm just like, I can't function. And then I'll be really conscious of having a nice, good, balanced lunch. Usually sort of like quite a lot of protein I find is good for me. So I'll have like a lot of chicken and rice and some pastas. And then I'll make sure I have a good home cooked, healthy, meal, fresh, nothing that's the only time I'll ever have something out of the freezer is a batch cooked. So I know I'm getting the goodness. And I love my cooking as well. But it's so important. tell you firsthand how important this is.
Yeah.
And knowing what you're putting inside you.
Yeah.
You know, you just, I think we do take it for granted, this like fast food.
Yeah.
It's fast food for a reason. Like, it's nice as a treat.
Yeah.
But not all the time.
Yeah.
So what have we got up first then, Ellen?
So, shall we go in with some kimchi?
Sounds good to me. So, right, kimchi, what is it? Tell me, what am I about to sample?
Where's the camera there? So, this is in Tesco. You can pick it up in M&S. They do 3 pots for £8. It's inexpensive. It's basically loads of different chopped veg. So you've got cabbage in here. Kimchi is normally more spice, so Korean. So you've got carrot, ginger, garlic. So lots of antifungals in there. Bit of chili.
And it looks fantastic.
So here, Bush took a trial number 1.
Lovely. So this is kimchi.
So this is fermented. So this basically means it's teeming with loads of good bacteria. And so the more strains, the more varieties of good bacteria you can add to the diet, the better, the more diverse your gut bacteria can be. So you don't need to spend loads of money on all these supplements. Just add in simple things like this. So I'd have this like with scrambled egg, bit of that on the side. If I had a salad, I would just stick a bit of that in there. There's loads of flavors you can have. I think there's like one with cabbage and dill, which is nice with fish. They do fermented onion one, beetroot one. But the nice thing about it is if you're in a rush, you don't have to prep any veg or salad. Just literally eat that. So what do you think of that?
It's absolutely delicious.
Good.
That is so good. It's almost like a it's like a really refreshing coleslaw.
Yeah.
But without the
Healthy
mayonnaise.
coleslaw. Yeah.
It's a healthy coleslaw with a lovely. I mean, I really like my spicy foods.
Yeah.
And there's a lovely little kick in this.
Yeah.
You know.
So you got, I mean, especially this time of year, your garlics and your gingers, lots of antifungals, good for kind of fighting infection.
So say for lunch, what would you have that with?
So if you just had a normal salad, just shove a load of that in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, with eggs, with omelette, with anything really, just as a side. I mean, there's so many flavors. You could kind of pick the ones that you like.
Absolutely delicious.
But yeah, so that's our first number 1, kimchi.
I would give that. That's a. I mean, I want to say a 9 out of 10.
Hey, good.
Honestly, I would have that with
Lots
a lot of things.
Yeah.
In a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that could go well with a lot of things.
You can make it. So if you look up recipes, I mean it's quite simple to do.
Yeah.
Using up veg and kind of things that you've got in there, and you can ferment it quite quickly. So went on a course in the summer to River Cottage. We learned advanced fermentation. You can make it, but sometimes when I'm giving these talks, I just think you've got to make it simple, because if I'm saying, oh, now you need to make all this stuff, and you've got to make it easy. I mean, three of those big pots for £8. The last week's added stuff. It's affordable.
Yeah, I was just about to say, sort of how long with that? You just pop it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Once you've opened it, away you go.
But because it's fermented, you'll find that sometimes it leaks a little bit. So let the gas out.
Yeah. Just crack it a bit. Yeah.
Explosion and
That honestly, I mean, it's won a great taste award. I can see as well there on the packaging. So lovely, delicious.
Number 1.
I'd say it's a 9. Good sound, solid 9. It's very tasty. What we got up next then, Ellen?
So we've got some kefir. So this is a fermented yogurt. It might seem a little bit sour. I'm trying to see where your camera is. So a lot of people will know live yogurt, bio yogurt.
Yeah.
So this one's got more strains. So when we're talking about strains, we're talking about different strains of bacteria, and they all have different roles. So the more strains, the better. So this one, 13 different strains. In typical live yogurt, maybe about 7. So this one's got a lot more. It is quite sour, so you could put some like fruit with it, a little bit of good honey. You could mix that into like a coleslaw to get it in that way. There is flavored ones as well. I mean, some of those will have sugar in. But again, like if you have a bowl of fruit, a bit of that and a bit of normal yogurt, you'll be getting in just different strains to the kimchi. If you make a smoothie, you could put that in, mix it through. So it's a bit more sour than a typical yogurt, but as part of like other things.
I mean, that would go well on my breakfast.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I could just add a bit of that in. It's lovely. It's not actually that sour, to be honest. I've tried a lot sour yogurts.
Good.
It's tasty. It's very smooth.
And again, it's so £1.25, big pot of that. Pop it in a lunchbox. You could mix some raspberries in with it, and it'll last in your fridge.
That's what I had this morning, actually. Raspberries, blueberries, grapes, And blackberries.
Nice. Lots of antioxidants.
Yeah, that's it. And tomorrow I've already got mine lined up. Already got my banana to go there tomorrow with the strawberries. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about thinking about, right, what am I eating? I think meal planning is so underrated. And as soon as my friends are like, oh, I've got no energy, and they're like, oh, I need to get back in the gym, or I need to do, yeah, that's one part of it. Yeah. But what are you eating? Oh, well, I don't cook when I get in. I'm too tired. So what are you getting? I'm getting takeaways every night, or I'm, getting, ready meals. This is the other thing. It is pricey. Yeah. So it's about meal planning and about thinking about, what you're putting inside your body. So important. So important. I like that. I mean, it's hard to really rate a yogurt individually out of 10, I guess, but it was nice.
Good.
It was nice. I would say that was a good, I want to say like a 7.5, okay. Maybe an 8.
So kimchi's still winning.
Yeah, by a mile. That, honestly, I'm really impressed with that. Like, I mean, I would literally go out and buy some, 100%. Yeah. And even leave the yogurt. I'll have some with my breakfast tomorrow. I'll let you know how I get on.
Yeah. There is a local company called Parker Derwin. I think they're Narberth based. You see them in some health food shops like around the county. So you could look out for them. They do a really nice kimchi. And then you've got this one. So they are easily accessible.
And let's not forget, we have so much incredible produce at our fingertips right here in Pembrokeshire. We are the lucky ones. I mean, you have people from all over the world purchasing Welsh produce, and so much of it is right here on our doorstep.
Yeah. Well, this kefir yogurt is Lotus Land. So that's a nice Welsh.
Yeah, fabulous. And what have we got third?
So this is called kombucha. Mm-hmm. So kombucha is a fermented fizzy drink. So it would be kind of a green tea. There we go. Yeah. So you're starting to see it a bit more in supermarkets. It used to just be in health food shops, to see it in supermarkets. I've even seen it on pub menus now, drinks menus, so it's good. So this is a fermented drink. It's not overly sweet. It has, again, lots of cultures in there, lots of strains of bacteria. So it's a great alternative to, like, let's say, a fizzy drink loaded with sugar. So you can make it again, but it would take about a month to make. So add in this. So if you're starting with these, you could just start with like a little shot of that, for example, a little spoonful of the kimchi, and just build up to it. For some people, if they've got IBS, having loads of all this stuff, it could then be just a bit too much. So with any of these, just start slowly, just every day think, I've had a bit of that today, I'll have that tomorrow.
Yeah. Great advice. And more people are suffering with the likes of IBS these days. I think it's a stressful world out there. There's lots going on. We're all juggling a lot. Everyone's, very, very busy. And that's the other thing as well. It's not only do you sort of find people like, oh, I haven't got the time, I haven't got the money. When will I do this? Yeah. You make the time. Yeah. And it's not that expensive. Yeah, I think that's such a great idea. Just a little bit at a time. But that's really tasty.
Yeah, and a great alternative to a fizzy drink, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice. So where would you buy this? Where would you be able to get this from?
That was a supermarket. You can get a health food shop. And then if you want to make it, just look it up. You can make it. You can make it in kind of a kiln.
And what's the cost of that can? How much is it?
So I think maybe it's about £1. Okay. But if you're starting with it, go and get the one with the bottle, and then you can just have like a little shot a day, and just kind of get
used to it.
Yeah.
Very tasty though. That's very refreshing. Can imagine that on a nice bit of ice.
Yeah.
Lovely, nice summer's day. Again, I'd give that a good 8. I would buy that.
Good.
If I was to see that, I'd buy that.
Good.
To be honest, I don't drink many fizzy drinks anyway. Very good. Very good. I drink lots of water because I don't stop talking. Charming. Got to keep hydrated. Lots and lots of water. Fab. I'm loving this. What a fantastic way to start a Monday morning. What else have we got then, Ellen?
So I've made these for you. So these are energy balls.
Yeah.
So literally all I've done is blended. So you'd need a food processor, but I blended dates with some walnuts, a little bit of orange zest, and then rolled them through cocoa powder. So you can have one of them, and I'll explain. So yes, they've got natural sugar in because they've got dates. So if you were to eat dates on their own, dried fruit, you're going to see a bit of a sugar spike there because it is a form of sugar. But by pairing them with the walnuts, the fat and the protein and the fiber is going to sort of help slow that sugar spike. So you're not going to kind of see such a big spike and a drop. The cocoa powder is full of things like magnesium, which are really good for things like sleep, bone density. So they're a great alternative to like a typical confectionery bar. What do you think of that one?
Delicious.
Good.
I haven't had any of those in a few years. Again, as we were on our 12-week lifestyle
Were you making
transformation.
them?
No, one of the girls made them for us. They're delicious.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious.
Well, I'll leave them for the day.
Oh, thank you. The guys in the office will be absolutely chuffed to bits. But,
we'll put the recipe. I'll send.
Again, I was just about to say, please send the recipes through. And, it's amazing the difference it can make to people's lives, just little bit by bit. And also, you've got a cracking recipe book here as well. So if you want it all in one place.
Yeah, we've got a couple of books to give away, 2 cookbooks here. So there's about 100 recipes.
Wow.
But I'd say this time of year, winter wellness, one of the biggest things you can do is really focus on getting your vitamin D in. So the government guidelines would be 1,000 what's called international units IU a day. And if you think last year we had a long winter, not a good summer, so we're probably much lower than we should be. So a few things that you can do for vitamin D: see daylight at least twice a day. So in the morning, just even if you're having a cup of tea in the morning, just see daylight. Don't wear sunglasses. And then at lunchtime, if you can have even 5 minutes walk in daylight, that can really help. But high foods kind of content for vitamin D would be sardines are really high. You'd have to eat 7 eggs to get the same amount of vitamin D as a tin of sardines.
Wow.
So your oily fishes, your cod liver oil, that sort of thing. Mushrooms would be good. But daylight is the biggest. But if you feel like you suffer with things like seasonal affective disorder, so in January when you feel quite low, then it would be worth looking at a supplement. I mean, when I talk about supplements, I'm talking generally. So obviously, if you're taking medication, just check with your pharmacist or GP before taking it. But 1,000 IU would be like a spray you can get under the tongue. The Arc in Haverfordwest and down the road, they'd have them. Go and speak to them for advice. But now I'm taking it every day because we're just not getting enough vitamin D.
Yeah.
But vitamin D is so essential for immune system, for mood, for bones, teeth, that sort of thing. So that's the big one for winter, is focus on your vitamin D and kind of looking at your gut health, just topping up on these little bits and bobs. Even now, don't wait till January.
Yeah.
Now,
Prevention.
Yes.
All about prevention. Ellen, thank you so much for popping in today. Thank you for all of your wonderful advice. Thank you for the lovely samples. Absolutely delicious. And I will give those energy balls, they're a good sound solid 9.5. 9.5. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is I don't like dark chocolate, but I will go past that. But it's beautiful. So tasty. Well done on your fabulous award. Look at this.
Thank you.
She's award winning, and she's got this fabulous cookbook. Let's have a look at this cookbook as well. And I mean, look at this, absolutely fabulous. The Real Food Cookbook. So if you are looking to get healthier, if you want to get through the winter, that's your essential Bible, really. I'm going to be nicking one of those as well. So if you would like to grab one of them, please just go in the comment section right now and just say, Ellen, I love you. Okay? That's all you need to do. Comment section, Ellen, I love you, and you can win that cookbook. We'll get that sorted over to you. Ellen, absolute pleasure having you in today. Lovely to see you. Keep up the amazing work.
Thank you.
Plenty more awards coming, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
And if people want to find out more information, if they want to reach out to you, because you do obviously personal plans, you can sit down with
allergy
people.
Testing, gut testing,
yes. All of that jazz. How can they get in touch?
Facebook, the website. I recently took on another nutritionist because it is so busy doing so many events.
And you're going to all the schools as well, of course.
Yeah, so this year, I think, you might know more than me, but at least 70 schools in this county with a healthy eating project called a FACE project, and do wellness days going into companies. So yeah, just get in touch and we will help put you on the right track.
Oh, fabulous. So good to see you. Thanks for popping in today.
Thank you.
Absolute star that you are.
Ocky White Travel, your multi-award winning travel agents, proud sponsors of the daytime show, weekdays from 10 a.m. on Pure West Radio.